For my concept map, I used this image of a plant to represent growth and leadership. Initially, I had 14 separate flowers in one garden, but I think that this image better illustrates and organizes the connections between these theories and approaches. I will highlight one theory or approach in each of these groups: leader-centered, follower-centered, and process-centered. Then I will discuss some additional leadership information. First, we will look at the leader-centered approaches. These include the trait approach, the skills approach, and the behavioral approach. We will look at their utility, leader implications, and context and followers. The utility of these approaches is that they give us a list of qualities and behaviors that are useful in describing leaders, or that we can develop to improve our own leadership capabilities. The trait approach implies that leaders are born with certain traits, and that's why they are able to lead well. It does not allow for growth and development and defines only one way of leading. All of these approaches fail to consider different situations and how they affect leadership required, and they pay little attention to the followers. Next are the follower-centered approaches and theories. These include servant leadership, adaptive leadership, the situational approach, and path goal theory. In all of these, follower characteristics have heavy influence on leadership behaviors. We'll look at their utility, follower implications, and context involved. The utility of servant leadership is that it allows the followers to be their most efficient by giving them what they need and thus benefiting the whole group. Servant leadership looks at the followers first and uses their needs to determine the actions of the leader. Servant leadership is more natural in some contexts, like the service industry, but it is really applicable everywhere. Now let's look at the process-centered approaches and theories. These include transformational leadership, authentic leadership, and leader-member exchange theory. All of these involve a process of change and a growth in leader-follower relationships. We'll look at their utility, the process, and the context involved. Authentic leadership still needs further development as a theory, but it involves a process of development in the leader that leads to genuine desire for followers to succeed and an authentic relationship with them. In authentic leadership, a leader goes through a process of development characterized by critical life events, some good and some bad, that lead to greater self-awareness. Relationships are vital to authentic leadership. Therefore, the context of authentic leadership involves a personal relationship and sometimes a stressful situation to help strengthen that relationship. Finally, we'll discuss other important leadership information, including leadership ethics, team leadership, and gender and culture in leadership. Leadership involves power and influence, therefore it is important to use that power and influence positively and ethically. This is where the principles for ethical leadership fit in. Respect for others, service of others, showing justice, manifesting honesty, and building community all provide a solid foundation for ethical leadership decision-making. Teams are everywhere. Teams are becoming much more common and popular in organizations, therefore team leadership is becoming increasingly important. Team leaders must be able to assess the situation to decide whether monitoring behaviors are appropriate or if intervention is necessary. Finally, gender and culture in leadership. There is little to no evidence to say that women are less fit to lead than men, but still a gender gap exists and women are underrepresented in leadership. This is because women are less likely to be seen as capable leaders. Therefore, followers are less willing to follow and leadership becomes more difficult. Cultural diversity can be beneficial in brainstorming solutions because it provides a variety of outside-the-box answers. But because of cultural differences among followers, effective leadership can be hard. Developing the universal leader attributes can help to bridge those cultural gaps. Thank you.